Quite remarkable things happening in Christchurch now. Let's go to our reporter Ian Telfer, who was at the Pioneer Stadium, which is functioning as an evacuation centre, or it was. Ian, people were being told to go to it. What's happening now?
Yes, hello, John. That's right. I'm still at the Pioneer Centre, but there's very few other people here, and that's because in the last half hour, they've decided not to bring people here, but to send them to two other evacuation centres, which are now going to be the Hallswell Community Centre and the Selwyn Event Centre in Lincoln, which you just heard about there from the Mayor. So people are being redirected as they arrive by civil defence staff and local people here and being sent down to Hallswell. There are still a couple of dozen people here standing around. Most of them are not evacuees. They're locals of various kinds. And what they're seeing is a band of fire. Now got flames both sides of the hill in front of us here that I can see from the field. And I think there'll be flames right around the back, but it's hard to tell. And any moment now, I guess they'll start coming over the bridge of the hill and down towards us. It's very hard to see how close to the houses, but I guess there's only a gully separating them now, and it's certainly very dramatic.
Right, so if you're on the Selwyn side of the fire, you go to the Selwyn Event Centre, right? If you're on the Christchurch side of the fire, you were being told to go to the Pioneer Stadium. Can you repeat for us, Ian, where you're meant to go now? It's Hallswell what?
Yes, people are now being sent, John, to the Hallswell Community Centre in Hallswell. Yep.
Okay, and how close are those flames coming to you there now? Are they moving towards you in that wind?
Look, it's not like we're threatened in any way. There's quite a distance. It'd be a couple of k's from here. But the flames are very visible, and they're in the pine trees to the right of a hill that sits in front of me. I don't know what it's called. And to the left as well. And the smoke is just pouring up into the sky with this very strong wind here. There are at least 3 helicopters there operating above it, trying to knock these back. But I'd say it's well out of control. And now the fire is beginning. I can see flames now on the top of the ridge of this hill in front of us. So it is certainly spreading, and I would say very much out of control.
Yeah, it sounds terrible. Ian, you have been there all day, and you were filing a piece for us earlier today about the fact that the fire was under control and that people were able to return to their homes and take stock and all that kind of stuff. And then suddenly it all took off. But I think you're going to introduce us, throw to your own piece, are you? What were you working on?
Well, John, that's right. I spent the day at Governor's Bay, which is actually on the other side of these Port Hills, on the Littleton Harbour side, if you like, where last night, in the middle of the night, in fact, 2 o'clock in the morning, people started being evacuated. 107 people evacuated from there early this morning. And here's what I saw.
The helicopters have been droning all day here again, and ash is gently falling from a smoky sky. Underneath, people have been returning to their homes after the early morning emergency. Barry Sly lives at Taunton Gardens, a historic house at Allendale. He packed last night and fled at 1:30 a.m.
We had the scary experience of the fire flaring up again just up behind us, and we could hear it. We could hear it burning. That's how close it was, and we thought, we're out of here, because if the wind comes up or if it changes, she's all over.
People here thought they were out of danger yesterday, but then were told the wind was changing and warned to get ready. The worst affected residents were only allowed back at midday. The chief of Governor's Bay's Volunteer Fire Brigade, Andrew Norris, says he had crews stationed at the most threatened houses, but they just had to wait through the night for aerial backup.
We were very, very lucky in that the helicopters come back on board at 6 a.m. this morning, and with the arrival of the helicopters, we were able to stop the fires within about 100 metres of the homes. But by then it was under heavy vegetation. Very fortunate to get the aerial resources back on deck at a nice early hour, and really did save the day.
Some residents returning today couldn't talk about the evacuation, saying they were too emotional. 27 people used a welfare centre at the Governor's Bay school. One woman, who would only give her name as Jane, says everyone's on edge.
Monday night we packed things ready to leave if we had to, because we were told, the volunteer fire people are very good and they know generally what's going on. So we were told to get ready, which we did. But then last night we got even more ready, because it was obviously, when we got home from work yesterday, the flames were obvious, near.
Rob Brown only moved into his house above Governor's Bay Fire Station 6 weeks ago and joined the brigade. He's been out fighting the fires for 36 hours on only 2 hours sleep, and he's not sure if they're out of danger.
You can never tell with these things. We were up on the hill and obviously on Monday night, and what we seem to have made good headway, we were back at there last night in this pretty much the same situation, the same position. So we could potentially be up here tonight also, even though it looks like things have progressed. For us, you can never tell. Just one shift in the weather pattern could change things completely. But fingers crossed.
This afternoon I came across 2 landscapers working on a garden. Tim Daly pulled out yesterday because of heavy smoke, but he's back at it today, though he says it's a bit eerie.
It is pretty quiet, yeah. We got here this morning, it was a bit more quiet than normal, with everyone being sort of evacuated, but everyone's sort of coming back to their homes now, and obviously it's been sort of called off in terms of the immediate danger in the area, so yeah.
So your landscaping, you're going to keep going?
Yeah, we'll keep going, keep getting in the garden and just keep sort of pottering along.
Barry Sly says the Ohinatahi Valley above him's all grass and bush and full of native birds, and the fire is devastating.
I put this on par with the earthquakes, so we've had enough.
Civil Defence is holding a community meeting tonight to update the community on what they can expect next. In Governor's Bay for Checkpoint, Ian Telfer.
So that was Ian earlier in the day before the fire was reinvented basically by the wind change. We are going to update, and this is a very formal and explicit update, update 3 from the police. Hallswell Library is the latest evacuation centre. Boy, this is moving fast. Displaced residents on the Christchurch side, on the city side of the flames, are now being directed to Hallswell Library, not Pioneer Recreation Centre. This is from the police. Selwyn Event Centre in Lincoln also remains an evacuation centre if you are on the other side there. So if you can't get home, or if you have left home, or if you just want to be in the comfort of people who are there to support you, and you are needing a place to shelter, displaced residents now being directed to Hallswell Library, which has been set up as an evacuation centre, not as had been previously the case, the Pioneer Recreation Centre.